Hi guys, it's Xenia. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my top fall perfume recommendations. So I have a top 12 perfume here. I was trying to make it 10, but you know how that goes. I feel like I say that every year. When I try to make these like top 10 videos, it's never actually top 10. It's always over top 10. As per usual on my channel, I love to include affordable / high-end options. So I have a good mix of that here. I have been on YouTube now for like a little over 2 years, which is crazy. So with that being said, I have done this video 2 other times in the past. So if you guys want to see my last year's fall perfume recommendations as well as the year before that, check out the description. I'll have both of those videos linked down there because in those videos I also give you some more fall perfume recommendations. So these are the top 12 perfumes that I'm personally going to be reaching for this fall time. They're going to be in my rotation a lot because they're just those perfect transition perfumes. Fall time is kind of tricky because it's not necessarily super cold, but it's also not hot anymore. So you don't necessarily want anything too heavy and Christmassy and winter-like, but you do also want something that's going to give you a little bit more than your like fresh, clean perfume that you would typically wear in the summertime. And I feel like I have a good mixture of that sort of thing here. So with all that being said, before we get into this video, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and turn your post notifications on. And if you guys want to see my top 12 perfume recommendations for fall 2022, then just keep watching. So the first perfume I'm going to start with is kind of like the perfect transitional fall perfume, and that is Kayali Eden Juicy Apple. So you guys know I bought this recently, just within like the past couple months, and I absolutely am loving this perfume. This is, I feel like, an all year round perfume. Like, it's perfect for all year round, but I think specifically for the fall time, this is so good because it reminds me of like apple picking. This is such a juicy apple. I mean, juicy apple is literally the name of it, and that's exactly what it smells. It is such a juicy apple, like a bright red apple perfume. But then when it dries down, this does have a little bit of depth to it, and I personally think this is so inviting. It's so sexy. It's sweet but not too sweet. Like, it still has that appley crisp freshness to it, but it also has depth to it, which I think is why it's like literally the perfect fall scent, because it's just like that perfect transition of not being too much and not being too little. It's sweet, it's fruity, it's woody, almost smells like a candy or something like that. The top notes in this perfume are red apple, lychee, blackcurrant, pink grapefruit, middle notes of wild berries, raspberry bloom, jasmine, and May rose, and base notes of sugar, musk, vanilla flower, moss, and amber. It's a perfect mixture of being very appley, like you can definitely smell that apple, but there's also a ton of berries in it, which I think is what makes this perfect for fall, because I think those berries is what's giving this that like depth to it. If you love scents like Be Enchanted, raspberry chiffon, midnight pomegranate, just all those really bright, sweet, berry-like scents from Bath & Body Works, then I think you will love this. And I love every single one of those scents. Like, I'm all about the berries, but this definitely takes it up a notch. Like, it's not gonna be your, you know, generic body spray type of scent. And another thing I will say, I've tried a lot of Kayali's perfumes like Vanilla 28. We all know how I feel about that, and I've tried the other ones like just at the store, tested, and they just haven't been for me. Like, they just don't fall in my perfume taste, whereas this one is the first one where I smell it and I'm like, oh my god, that's everything that I love. So if you are kind of also like me and you haven't really found a Kayali scent that you love, definitely try this one out. It is so good. I'm also really interested in trying out the brand new Kayali scent. I think it's called Love Fest. I really want to get my hands on that one to review and also just to have, because that one also sounds really freaking good and it definitely sounds right up my alley. So Kayali, if you're watching this, please send me that perfume. Anyways, back to this. I'm loving this right now, and it's definitely going to be one that I highly reach for in the fall time. So that is Kayali Eden Juicy Apple. Next perfume I think is very much fall appropriate is 212 VIP by Carolina Herrera. This is 212 VIP Gold. There's a bunch of these 212 VIP perfumes in this range and it's kind of confusing, so if you are looking for this, definitely make sure that you search up the gold one. It will be linked in the description box. This perfume is also perfect for fall because it's not too heavy. Like, there's some level of fresh muskiness to this. This is a very musky perfume, and that's coming from somebody that doesn't typically love a heavy musk scent. It's mixing really well with the sweeter notes that are in here. Like, there's like vanilla, there's rum. It's kind of like that boozy sweet sort of vibe that I feel like we've been seeing a lot of, because there's a lot of perfumes now that are starting to have those rum notes or bourbon vanilla, which I feel like is a very popular one. It almost kind of reminds me of Euphoria from Calvin Klein, which that's another really, really good fall perfume. This is so good. It's like this perfect mixture of like this vanilla musky scent. It's really rich. It's got a lot of woody notes in it. It's fruity, it's sweet, but because of that rum, it just adds such a sexy sophistication to it. And then there's also passion fruit in this perfume. So I wouldn't say that it's tropical, but I feel like if you're going on vacation, this is a good scent to bring. For those night out, like nice dinners that you may go to, I feel like this is the perfect scent for that, because it's not necessarily beachy. Like I wouldn't go to that extent, but because of that passion fruit, it does add a level of like, just gives you like vacation vibes. The actual notes in here are top notes of rum and passion fruit, middle notes of gardenia and musk, and base notes of vanille and tonka bean. The perfect way I can sum this up is it's a musky vanilla rummy type of scent, super sexy, and a perfect fall/winter scent. I feel like it'll do good for both, but I think it is a really good fall scent specifically. It's strong, it's got good projection to it, and it has great longevity. Like it literally will last you a day and a half. So that is 212 VIP Gold by Carolina Herrera. The next scent is kind of along the same lines. This is another one that will be good for fall and winter time, because this is more on like the warm sweet side. There's not really any level of freshness to this perfume, and this is Azzaro Wanted Girl. This was kind of a love at first sniff for me. When I bought this, I was at Dillard's with my husband and I was just smelling testers, and I smelled this, I sprayed it out. I didn't buy it initially because in the store I couldn't really tell what it smelled like until I stepped out, and I literally walked out of the store. I was getting these like whiffs of it as I was walking to the car, and my husband could smell it too, and he was like, wow, yeah, that actually smells really good. I literally walked back to the store and purchased it. So this is vanilla, this is caramel, it's sweet, it's like tonic, it's creamy. It kind of has a floral vibe to it slightly, but it's definitely dominated by the sweeter like vanilla, caramelly, woody type of notes. And those notes are top notes of ginger flower, orange blossom, pink pepper, and pomegranate, middle notes of dulce de leche, datura, and base notes of tonka bean, patchouli, and Haitian vetiver. I wouldn't say that this is to the extent of being a gourmand, but it's kind of like going up to that level. It's definitely a very sweet perfume. It gives me like almost like a ice cream, like dulce de leche ice cream vibe, mixed with that vanilla, the pomegranate. Like it just has so much rich sweetness to it. It's also a perfume that has some great longevity. And another thing I will say about this is it kind of reminds me of Alien Fusion, which I have somewhere in my collection, because those white florals that are in here, although there's not like an actual jasmine note, which is what you would think would remind you of Alien, I think the mixture of those white florals mixing with all the sweet scents kind of is giving me a vibe to Alien Fusion, but it's much sweeter and more like tonic and everything like that. But I just wanted to mention that, especially for those of you that really love the scent of Alien Fusion, which I definitely do. This one has like a little drop of that kind of scent in here, but if you're like an Alien hater, definitely still try this out. Like it's not one of those things where it smells so similar to it that if you don't like Alien you will hate this, because it's definitely not. But I wanted to mention that for those of you that actually love Alien Fusion, because I think you will smell a little bit of that in here. So that is Azzaro Wanted Girl. The next perfume is a brand new perfume to my collection. I have a couple of those perfumes in here because I've just fallen in love with these new perfumes, like so much so that I feel like I'm like using them every single day. And this is definitely one of them. This is Princess by Kilian, otherwise known as I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess. So this is the brand new packaging for this perfume. It used to come in like this round cap, and then they like discontinued that and they brought it back to this. And it was also out of stock for the longest time because I was trying to get my hands on it, because I had actually smelled the tester of this at a Sephora and I fell in love and I wanted it so freaking bad. But it was just impossible to find for a while until they finally brought it back. And I freaking love this. I do want to change something about what I said in the video where I hauled this. I think it was my previous video. I said in that video that this is really soft and that it doesn't really last that much. But I'm going to take that back, because at the point where I had filmed that video, I wasn't too familiar with this perfume. I had only worn it a couple times, and I don't think I had sprayed it to the level where I spray my perfumes. Like, I go ham when I spray my scents. And just the other day, I had date night with my husband. We were going out for dinner, and this was my perfume that I wore, and I did not mix it with anything. And I kind of, you could definitely say I went ham with this. Like I was just like, you know, spraying this all over my body. And it lasted not only throughout the whole night, but the next day I smelled the dress that I was wearing out to dinner and I was so in love with it. Like the smell was so freaking delicious. If you are a marshmallow lover, you'll absolutely love this scent. Like this is like that creamy marshmallow, like true vanilla marshmallow. I feel like a lot of the times when perfumes have marshmallow in them, they're also accompanied by that like campfire sort of scent, so it's like a smoky marshmallow type of scent. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but this is not that. This is true marshmallow, sweet ooey gooey marshmallow. That's what this smells like, and I'm obsessed with marshmallow scents. Of course, there's a little bit more complexity to this than just being like a basic marshmallow scent, but it's more than anything a sweet vanilla marshmallow. It's sort of powdery. This is a sweet, addicting, intoxicating, sexy fragrance. Weirdly enough, this is actually a unisex perfume. I personally think it's way more feminine. There's nothing in here that is giving me masculine vibes at all. I don't find it unisex. But it is labeled as a unisex fragrance. So the top notes in here are lemon, middle notes of green tea, ginger, peach, hedione, jasmine, and apple, and base notes of marshmallow, vanilla, and benzoin. I think that I can scratch off all the other notes, and I think what I'm getting more in here is those base notes. The marshmallow, vanilla, maybe a little bit of that benzoin, but marshmallow, vanilla are like the top two that I can smell just right off the bat, like out the bottle, on the first initial spray, on the dry down. It's like all I'm smelling, and I love that. So if you want a sweet, warm, addicting marshmallow fragrance, this is it. And it's weird because although you would think of this to be like super sweet because of the marshmallow and the vanilla, it's actually not a fragrance that is sweet to the point where it will give you a headache. It is sweet, but it's soft. Like it's not to the point where it will give you a headache. Definitely not like Love Don't Be Shy over here, which will very quickly give you a headache because it is like a crazy level of sweet. This is not. So that is Princess by Kilian. So taking it down to a perfume that's extremely affordable, and it's kind of crazy for me to talk about this. This is Fancy by Jessica Simpson. I have a long history with this perfume. If you've been watching my channel, you already know. I'm not gonna get into it, but the summary of it is I literally used to hate this perfume so much. I never liked it, and then one day I for some reason really wanted it. I got it and I ended up really liking it, and now I really like it. So I think the reason why I used to not really love this is because everybody always used to say that this is such a sweet caramel scent, and for me, I used to only smell the floral notes in here. Like there's a lot of white floral notes, and it was too powdery, and that was more of what I was smelling, whereas everybody was saying that this was so sweet and the caramel was so pungent, and like that's what I wanted out of it, but that's not what I was getting, and now I'm getting that. I definitely do smell those warm caramel sweet notes. I still do get the florals, but I think I get those more when this initially sprays out. Like I do get this sort of burst of florals, and I'm also getting kind of like a bitter almond sort of a scent, but I'm not really put off by that anymore, just because when this dries down is where I really like it. The top notes in here are apricot, pear, red berries, middle notes of caramel, almond, gardenia, and jasmine, and base notes of vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. That almond I'm really smelling in here. Mixed with the gardenia, I smell a lot, and I do smell it all throughout, but once this dries down, the vanilla, amber, and sandalwood mixture with also that caramel is what is coming out to me more now. And I think this is such a perfect fall fragrance because it's not too sweet. Because of those white florals and a little bit of those fruits that are in here, they're not weighing this down so much so to the point where it's just like vanilla, caramel, amber, you know, like too potent of those types of notes. It has a level of like freshness to it while still being very sweet, if that makes any sense. So I've definitely jumped on the bandwagon of people that love this perfume, which there's a lot of you out there, and I also really enjoy it now. So that is Fancy by Jessica Simpson. Okay, the next perfume, oh my god. This perfume, I don't care the weather, I don't care how hot it is, I don't care how cold it is, I don't care where I'm at. This perfume I will always wear. This is like a staple in my collection. This is Haute Couture by Givenchy. I love this perfume. I feel like love is an understatement for how much I freaking adore this scent. So this is the Eau de Parfum. Many people have told me that they prefer the EDT. Honestly, I don't even want to mess with the EDT. I'm sure it's great, but I'm so in love with this perfume that like nothing can beat it. This is a raspberry smoky type of scent. And normally I'm not a big fan of smoky notes. I feel like smoky notes just turn really smoky on my skin, and I just don't like the smell of that because it makes me feel like I just like smoked cigarettes and then try to like mask it with like a body spray. Like that's not the scent I'm going for, but that's not what this is. That's what I was scared about going into it, and that's one reason why people were saying the EDT is much better, because the smoke note is not as heavy. So I definitely was afraid when I blind bought this, but I took a chance and I'm so glad that I did, because I actually don't really even find this that insanely smoky. It's definitely got a little something to it. Like, it's not your basic raspberry scent. I melt every single time I freaking smell this. So the notes in this are top notes of raspberry, bergamot, and orange, middle notes of pepper, vetiver, magnolia, and base notes of sandalwood, amber, and musk. So there isn't actually a smoke note in here. Like, there's no like incense or anything like that, but I'm guessing what is gonna give off that sort of smoky vibe is just kind of like maybe the mixture of the pepper, the vetiver, and the sandalwood. So because there isn't an actual smoky note, I don't actually smell like smoke. I am getting like that sandalwood, pepper, vetiver mixture, but the way that it's mixing with the raspberry is so addicting. Call me crazy, but to me, there's something about this that smells like my beloved Stella McCartney Pop. But whereas this is like your daytime soft, innocent, fresh scent, this one is like bam, like sexy, nighttime, dark, mysterious, intoxicating. Every time I smell this, I'm in like a spell, and I've gotten so many compliments on this perfume. This is one of my most complimented scents. Pretty much every single time I wear this out to dinner, I get compliments by like random people. I've gotten compliments from like waiters, hostesses. Obviously my husband loves this perfume, so it's just like everybody loves this. Maybe it just mixes really well with my skin, but oh my god, I'm addicted to this. Like, this will never, ever, 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 ever leave my collection. So, Haute Couture by Givenchy is definitely a great one. Don't be surprised if I include this in my winter recommendations, summer recommendations. I will include this every season, every day. But I do think it is a great fall scent. The next perfume, I'm taking it back down. I'm kind of going like up and down in price. So this is a very affordable perfume. You can find this like giant full-size bottle for like $15. I found this at Burlington, and I haven't talked about this perfume in a while, I feel like, but this is really, really good, and it is such a perfect fall scent. This is Guess by Marciano. This is such a unique fragrance to me, and it smells so good. It's so unique because of the notes that it has. So this has top notes of curacao, carambola, cardamom, grapefruit, middle notes of honeysuckle, jasmine, and peony, and base notes of vanilla, musk, and woody notes. When this first sprays out, it is so incredibly unique because of that mixture with the curacao and the carambola. I actually don't think I have another perfume that has curacao in the notes, and it's giving this like this tropical drink sort of a scent. So based off of that description, you're probably like, why would that be a fall scent? Like, that's probably a good summer scent. But no, because the only sort of tropical feel that it has is when this first sprays out. Like, it's very bright and tropical drink-like. But as this starts to dry down, it gets almost like caramelly, and it starts to like thicken, and it gets vanilla-y, and it gets woody. I will say this is like a polarizing scent. I guess it depends on how it mixes with your skin, because some people love it and the way that it smells is great, but then on some people this turns very baby powder sort of a smell. So I will give that disclaimer. It does have like this baby powder, almost like baby wipes type of scent, which sounds so unappealing. Like, why would you want to smell like that? But I don't know how to explain it. There's something so alluring at the same time. It's kind of the same like Gucci Guilty, which I freaking love, and that's a good one as well. I don't know if I've included that in my past fall recommendations, but that's a good one. And it's kind of like that perfume where that also gives off like this weird baby powder sort of a scent, but it's also like extremely sexy at the same time. It's weird. You just have to smell it for yourself, and that's what this one is as well. So it just depends on how this turns on your skin. It's also a really great mixing scent. It mixes really well with a lot of body sprays, so you can kind of like tweak this and make it how you want it. So I will give the disclaimer, it's kind of a polarizing scent. You just like, you never know how it's gonna turn on your skin. But because it's so affordable, I would say give it a shot. You might end up really, really loving it. It's only like $15 at the end of the day. So it's not like you're spending hundreds on a perfume that you may not like. So I wanted to include this just because in my opinion, I think this smells really nice. So that is Guess by Marciano. The next perfume, I'm sure this is predictable because I've raved about this perfume and I will rave about it. And this perfume, just like the Haute Couture, are perfumes that like I will wear all year round. I'm addicted to them. Like they're so good. They're like the epitome of my perfume taste. Like this is literally my perfume taste in a bottle. This is Musc Noir Rose by Narciso Rodriguez. And you guys know I hauled this and I was freaking out, oh my god, about how good this smells. I'm gonna have to put this down and not smell it because if I do, it's like I'm not gonna be able to say anything about it. Like I will literally be in like a spell. This is so intoxicating to me. Like it is the definition of an intoxicating, alluring scent. It is so sexy, like such a feminine, sexy scent. I've been very vocal, as you guys know, about Narciso Rodriguez perfumes in the past and about how I haven't liked many of them. I have found a lot of them just like way too mature for me, but this is just, oh my god, like I need like 3,500 bottles of this perfume for the rest of my life. This smells like Turkish delights. Like it's powdery, it's sweet, it's like almost candy dessert like, but it's also kind of like has this like muskiness to it, which Narciso Rodriguez likes to do a lot. And normally I don't like the musk that is in his fragrances, but this is like the best musk because of how it's mixed with the sweet notes that are in here. So this perfume has top notes of plum, pink pepper, and bergamot, middle notes of musk, rose, and tuberose, and base notes of vanilla. I think what I'm smelling in here is like plum, musk, and vanilla, like a nice mixture of all of those. I think that plum is definitely very prominent and I love it. I happen to think plum is like a very sexy note in perfumes and it's just so sexy in this. This is so complex. It is so addicting. The rose in this perfume is done to perfection. Like for those of you that don't like rose scents, which is me included, I find rose scents to be more mature, especially the way that Narciso Rodriguez does them. Again, he does a lot of that like rose musk combination, but it's in like a very mature way. And I know a lot of people love that, but I personally do not. And the rose in here is just done to absolute perfection. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. Go watch the video where I hauled this and you guys will see how freaking addicted I am to this perfume. But yeah, I recommend this to everybody. I will never shut up about how much I love this. So that is Musc Noir Rose by Narciso. Next up, I have a Zara perfume. This is Zara Violet Blossom. I love the like dark purple to the black ombre bottle. It reminds me a lot of like Halloween. It's giving me Halloween vibes. But this is also a very intoxicating, sexy, sweet, like ambery vanilla floral type of scent. This has top notes of cherry blossom, middle notes of magnolia, and base notes of tonka bean. If you guys like Japanese cherry blossom from Bath and Body Works, then you will definitely love this. But even if you don't, you will like this because I know that that's a very hated scent from Bath and Body Works. This one, because of that cherry blossom note, it's kind of giving me vibes to that, but this is way more complex, way more perfumey. It's not as dated as Japanese cherry blossom, which I know a lot of people really find that scent dated. I don't think this is. Very alluring. I think this is a really good Halloween scent. I feel like it looks like a Halloween fragrance, but it's also just because of the scent, it reminds me of like Halloween vibes. If you like scents like Ellie Saab's Girl of Now, Poison Girl by Dior, those types of fragrances, if you like those, you will love this because this kind of falls into that category of perfumes. It's like that sweet, sort of powdery, delicious combination, and it is so good for the fall time. So that is Violet Blossom by Zara. It's also extremely affordable and you can get literally, this is a 6.8 fluid ounce and I got it for like 20 bucks. So this will literally last you for like 25 years. The next perfume I have fallen in love with since the moment that I hauled this perfume, which was not long ago. Like it's still fairly new to my collection, but every single time I wear it, I fall in love with this perfume more and more and more. I had it on yesterday and it lasted me the whole day. I was obsessed with how I smelled. I kept getting whiffs like throughout the day. It's so good, and that is Twilly d'Hermes Eau Poivrée. I never know how to say this, but you guys see the name on the screen. This is the flanker to the original Twilly, which I personally do not like. I smelled both because I didn't know which one I was gonna like more, and I smelled the testers, and I definitely went for this one. Like, this was way more up my alley. It's a little bit sweeter. It's also a little bit smoother. The original one was kind of sharp in my opinion. I felt like it smelled like cleaning chemicals, and it was just too punchy, like a little too punchy for me, whereas this one is just perfection. It is such a well blended perfume, and I also don't even really love the notes that are in here. Like, there's only 3 notes, which are pink pepper, rose, and patchouli, so you would think it wouldn't be that extremely complex because of how little notes that are in here, but it smells like it could have like 5,000 notes, but yet they all mesh so well together. And I don't really even love rose and patchouli, especially the combination of rose and patchouli. Like, that just sounds like disaster for me. Like, I stay away from those scents. Usually if I do like it, it's because they're mixed with other notes that I like. So seeing the notes of this perfume and it's like it's literally just rose and patchouli, I was like, maybe I wouldn't like that. But no, like, this is so good, and it's sweet, which is so weird because I don't know where the sweetness is coming from. Like, rose is not that sweet, you know what I mean, and pink pepper isn't sweet, patchouli sure isn't sweet, so I don't know where the like sweetness is coming from in this perfume, but I get some sweetness. It's so classy, it's so sophisticated, but it's also very sexy and womanly. And where I live, it is constantly like 100 degrees. It doesn't matter if it's fall, winter. Florida really said, you know, by seasons, like, it doesn't really matter. It's always freaking hot. And I had this on yesterday, and it was literally over 100 degrees yesterday, and it smelled so good. Like, I wouldn't say that this is a fresh perfume. I don't even know what category of perfume to put this in because it's like, it's not really fresh, it's not really that floral, it's not really that sweet. It's just like a little bit of everything, so I'm not really sure what category of perfume to put this in, but it did so well in the heat. It kind of just maintained how it smelled. The heat didn't really intensify it or made it like headache inducing or anything like that. It just withstood the heat so well, which is why I think this is a good fall fragrance for those warmer days, but I also feel like this can do no wrong when it's colder as well. So I'm freaking obsessed with this. I never thought I would be, which is why I stayed away from these fragrances for so long, but I'm so glad to have this in my collection. And my husband, oh my god, he's obsessed with this stuff. This is literally a drug to him. Every time I put this on, he always compliments me. So that is Twilly d'Hermès au Poivrée. Yeah, I can't say it still. Getting down to the last 2 fragrances. The next one is very affordable. This is Cacharel. Yes, I am. I find this so good. Like, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a perfume, but you want to smell sweet and sexy and unique all at the same time, get this perfume. You could literally find this for like 20 bucks, and it is so good, and it smells like a high-end designer perfume. This perfume has a lot of flankers to it, and they all smell great, but if you're wanting to just get one, I definitely recommend just the original because it's like just the best one of all. This perfume has top notes of raspberry, mandarin orange, lemon, and bergamot, middle notes of gardenia, ginger flower, amber, jasmine, rose, and orange blossom, and base notes of milk, caramel, vanilla, cardamom, licorice, coumarin, benzoin, sandalwood, and amberwood. There's a ton of notes in here, but I think what I'm getting mostly is like raspberry, like this mixture of like this fruity berry like scents in the beginning. It has a little bit of a spice to it because of those gingery notes, and then milk. It's very creamy, very lactonic, caramel, vanilla, a little bit of licorice. Those are kind of the notes that I'm getting most in here, and I love the combination of all those notes. I love a creamy, sweet, warm scent, and that's exactly what this is. It's a perfect fall scent, winter scent, honestly all year round, because I don't think there's anything too crazy in this perfume, so I think it'll do well in all kinds of weather, but I think it's specifically for the fall and winter time because of the warm, sexy sweetness that it has. It just kind of like wraps you up, and it's so freaking good. And for it being super sweet and lactonic, it's not headache inducing at all. Like, I don't think this is an offensive perfume at all, so I highly recommend Yes I Am by Cacharel. Okay, we have finally made it to the last perfume. This perfume I was originally not gonna include, but then I decided to include it because this is like the mixture of a bunch of perfumes that I really love. So instead of including all of those perfumes, I was like, why not just include this, You know, it's just one perfume and it kind of wraps all those up. And this is also brand new. It just came out. I did a whole dedicated review to this perfume. This is Prada Paradoxe. Literally just dropped like last month. It's brand new. If you want to watch the whole dedicated review of this where I went in depth about like the notes and everything like that, definitely go check that out. I will link it up here. This perfume is basically a mixture of Valentino Donna Born in Roma, Voce Viva, a little bit of Alien, YSL Libre. Like, it is just a nice mixture of all those perfumes. People also say that this smells a lot like My Way from Giorgio Armani. I personally don't get that, but I get all the other perfumes that I just mentioned, and I love this. Like, it's sweet, it's kind of citrusy, ambery, vanilla, fruity, kind of floral. Like, if you love any of those perfumes that I just mentioned, and I know those are very popular and very well loved perfumes, then I think you will really love this perfume. Like, there's just nothing to not like about this. It's very crowd pleasing. It's not the most unique perfume because it's a scent we've smelled before, but at the same time not really, because it's like a combination of all those perfumes. Like, it's like all put together, so it kind of has uniqueness to it in its own way, if that makes any sense. And I do think it's a very great fall perfume, honestly, year round, but definitely for the fall time this is great because it has that like transitional sort of feel to it where it's not too heavy and not too light. So that is Prada Paradoxe. Okay, so we have made it to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my fall 2022 perfume recommendations. Let me know which perfumes you guys are going to be reaching for in this fall time. But that is it for me today. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!